Hey everybody, I'm coming making this video message and I want to tell you guys something. Be okay and understand that there are people who they have rested in having the bare minimum and doing the bare minimum. This is a very different video, but if you listen to the entire video, I know it will help you and it will give you all a different perspective because it's kind of serious when you really think about it. Um, anyway, sometimes we have a bad habit in life of categorizing and misjudging people who have not accomplished or acquired what we have in life. And we will categorize people based off what it is they do or don't have, or what they are working on, or what they have already accomplished. And if you personally feel like you are the type of man or woman who has acquired a lot in life, or you have experienced a lot in life, or you view yourself as a successful man or woman, a lot of times people like that carry an attitude that if the next man or woman has not done what you've done, they are not on your level. You do not feel like they are worthy of being in your presence. You don't feel like they are worthy to have a conversation with. You do not take them seriously or think that their views or opinions matter when it comes to a lot of things, simply because they have not done what you've done or they have not accomplished what you have. You've got to be okay with the people who are connected to you, or they are related to you. You work with them, they're in your neighborhood, or they may be a friend. You have got to be okay with people who have made up in their mind that they don't want to do anything deeper or more important than what they are doing now or have already done. Now, let me break this down further. There are people you will find, and they are okay with living in an apartment for the rest of their life. They are okay with paying a landlord $1,100 rent. I'm just using that price as an example. People pay different rents in different amounts. But there are some people, they're okay living in a one-bedroom apartment or a studio apartment. But you've got to be okay with that, because a lot of people in this society, they will begin to judge someone and say that someone is stupid because they have rested in living in an apartment. There are people that they have raised an entire family living in a one or two or even three bedroom apartment. But it's okay if they're okay with that, because everybody does not want a mortgage. Everybody does not want to close on a house. Everybody does not want a lot of responsibility that comes with a home. But you have got to be okay with that. There are some people, they are okay with driving a regular car. Some people will get a car that is normal, that is regular, because it saves more money on gas. They get a certain car because it's not flashy and it does not draw a lot of attention to them. Some people, they will get a regular car because it doesn't put them in a line where they are under the radar of someone who would carjack them, or they are at a very much lower risk of someone stealing their car. People have different views and mindsets and reasons as to why they are okay doing the bare minimum, or just having the bare minimum in life. But you have got to be okay with that. There are people who are okay with not ever being married. They don't want the responsibility or the accountability of being responsible for another human being. Some people are okay with not having a child. They don't want the accountability or the responsibility of having to raise a child, having their sleep interrupted, having to worry about something happening to their child when they leave them at daycare or when their child gets up in age and they go to school and they are able to come home on their own. Some people, for different reasons, they are okay with never being married and never having a child. But you have got to be okay with that, because we will sometimes, and if you are not doing it now, at some point in your life, you may have been the type of person to mistreat and misjudge people that you feel are not on your level. We will also look at people who have the bare minimum in life, or we put ageism in the midst of a situation and say something is wrong with a particular person if they have not done something by a certain age. I am here to tell you, in life, everybody has a different journey, everybody has a different background, everybody has a different human experience. And sometimes, out of ignorance, people don't think further than what they see. What I mean by that is, people don't understand that the backgrounds of people, different emotional and spiritual matters go on with different people. And sometimes trauma and tragedy is what will cause a person to live their life, and it is at the bare minimum, or they have just rested at the level that they are, and they don't care about doing anything further. As long as they have a roof over their head, as long as they have a phone that can dial out, as long as they have enough money to buy them groceries and pay their rent, as long as they have a car to get them from point A to point B, they are okay with that. But what do a lot of people do? People will force or try to inflict their desires on other people, and that is unfair. That is very unfair, and it is not only an invasion of someone's privacy, but it can be very disrespectful and hurtful if you are talking to a person who is very, very sensitive about how their life is set up. See, what you guys got to understand is that in God's timing, God is going to be God regardless of what it is that we personally want and regardless of what we personally feel. We don't know in every situation when God is going to show up. We don't know where God is going to show up. We don't know how God is going to show up. But we need to let God be God. And through your hurt and through your pain and disappointment in the people that you love and the people that you're close to, you may feel like, okay, this person has just accepted the bare minimum in life, but I'm not going to sit back and allow them to be comfortable living their life the way that they live it. But I'm here to tell you in this video message, you have got to be okay and accept when people only want a little in life. You have got to be okay with people that you know and care about only wanting the bare minimum. If you feel like someone has rested in having very little or the bare minimum, you can pray for that person and you sit back and let God make the decision on if he wants to change their mindset or their life. Because listen, I say that because the fact of the matter is that when people have gone through, like I said earlier, when they go through trauma and tragedy, sometimes that will make someone change their entire life around. They will look at a loved one or somebody that they deeply cared about and they got deleted because of something that they had. And so they develop a mindset because they were on the outskirts looking at the tragedy that happened to somebody. And so they'll say, you know what, that was my brother, that was my cousin, that was my best friend, that was my ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or ex-spouse, and someone deleted them because they had a flashy car. Someone deleted them because they broke into their house. Someone deleted them because they had on a gold chain or a diamond chain. And so I choose to live my life where I don't want to spend my money on gold chains and diamonds and luxury cars. I just want a regular car that is not noticeable, and a car that people may laugh at and say that is very cheap, because I will not be a target. Do you all catch my drift? That's just one example. But I really want you all to really pay attention to this, because I was having a conversation with a family member, and we were talking about weight. We were talking about people that drink. We were talking about people that do drugs and people that smoke, because me and this particular family member, we don't do either one. But they were saying that they are okay with the weight that they are, and they do not care to try to lose weight. They are not living their life trying to be a certain weight. They don't care about or desire to be smaller. And so I asked them, well, did you give up? You should always want to be better. You should always want to do better. And they explained to me, no, I'm okay with where I am because it doesn't bother me. And so I had to really sit back and think about that, because at first it irritated me, it agitated me. And I had to tell myself through humility, you know what? Just because my mindset is not to be comfortable where I am, and just because my mindset is always thinking ahead of time, and I'm always looking at ways to improve myself and my looks and clean up bad decisions that I've made, this does not mean that somebody that I know wants the same thing. But does it mean necessarily that they've given up? Does it mean that they don't care anymore? Does it mean that it may be a demonic attack on them? Because sometimes the enemy will do things so much to you in your mind. He will tell you lies. He will put things in your heart. Things will be kind of like a garbage can in your spirit. And that changes and shifts your way of thinking. It changes your outlook on life. But if you really sit back before always imposing your thoughts, your feelings, and your desires on the people that you are connected to and the people that you love, you will find that some people are simply okay with where they are in life. But you have got to be okay with that. Even through your hurt for them, even through the tears you cry for them, even through your pain for them, you have got to come to grips with the fact that that person or those people, they are not like you. And that is okay. Now, some of you may say, well, when I see somebody that I feel has given up on life, or when I see that they're doing the bare minimum, when I know that they can be better, I am going to push them. But when I tell you all, sometimes that is still getting involved in a person's business and a person's life when they have not invited you. The only thing that you can do when you come across people, because you will see people that are gifted, you will see people that are anointed, you will see people that are extremely talented, and you see their potential, but they still have no desire to put in any extra work. They don't want to entertain anything in the area of their gift, talent, or anointing. They are okay with living their life regular. They're okay with that. But if you feel like that is something pushing them to a place where they've just lost hope for themselves and they've given up, you can pray for that person, and you back up, you stand down, and you fall back, and you've got to let God be God. That is what this video message is. The conversation that I had with this person connected to me, it just put my mind in a different level of perspective, and it made me view some things differently, because I think sometimes unknowingly and unintentionally we will try to, like I said, impose what we want on other people, and we will push people to the wayside, and we will put them in a category of being a failure. We will put people in a category of being a loser. We will put people in a category of giving up and not caring about their life, when in reality they really, truly, and deeply are okay with where they are. They may have various reasons why they're okay with that, but are you okay with it? And if you say, no, I'm not okay with that, you've got to ask, why are you not okay with it? Because here's the deal. If somebody tells you that they are okay being overweight, or they are okay with being a drunk, or they are okay with smoking, or, like I said, living in an apartment and driving a basic car and not furthering their education, why is it that you're not okay with that? If it's not destroying them, if they say smoke or drink just socially, why is it still bothering you if it's not bothering them? Do you all catch my drift? We will invest so much time mentally, emotionally, and spiritually into what we feel should be, I guess, the well-being of another human being, not realizing that they not even stressing out about where they are. But we will make it our business to go and impose ourselves and our feelings and our thoughts and our spirituality on other people, trying to change them, or even trying to inspire them to change, when they really don't want that. It may be hurtful to you. It may be disappointing to you. It may disgust you, but you still got to be okay with people who want the very little in their life. It's not always deep. It's not always that they're a loser. It's not always they're not useful in society because they don't live their life the way we do. Now, don't get this confused with you going and living your life outside of the will of God and going against the word of God. That's not even what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about everyday things that we do. We've been taught and trained, hey, listen, by this particular age, you should have this. By this particular age, you should be doing this. By this particular age, you should have this. You should live here. You should go there. Your way of thinking should be this. People play the ageism game all the time, but I feel like that is a very limited way of thinking and looking at other human beings, because in life, like I said, trauma, tragedy, fear, sometimes these are reasons why people are not at a level that you feel they should be. And sometimes it's not even that people have given up. It's just that people, they don't feel like putting work in to get more because they're happy with the little that they have. Some people have a mindset, hey, listen, I'm surviving. I have the bare minimum, but yes, I'm able to function every day. I'm able to function where I live at. I don't need to have a 3 or 4 bedroom home. I don't need to have a man. I don't need to have a woman. I don't need to have millions and millions, or thousands and thousands, or hundreds and hundreds of dollars in my bank account. There are literally people out here, they are okay with having $1,000 in their bank account. They're okay with having $500 or $800 in their savings account. They're okay with that. And so on today, before I end this video message, I'm going to tell you all, you've got to be okay and leave well enough alone with your loved ones, your friends, and somebody that you may love. Leave well enough alone if they've told you that they are happy where they are. If you feel like they're just saying that, but it's something deeper rooted going on that is causing them to be okay with where they are, like I said, pray for them and let God be God. Because God can change anybody's life. God can change anybody's mind. It may not be you who's going to be placed in that person's life to provoke that change. Sometimes only the hand of God can do that. Only the power of God can do that. And that's a case-by-case basis. But be okay with people only wanting the bare minimum. Be okay with that. Still love them, still respect them. Remove people out of the categories you've placed them in simply because they have not done what you've done in your life, or they have not experienced or accomplished what you have. Because where you're looking at somebody and feel like their life is not where it really should be or could be, how can you be so confident to think that someone can't look at your life and feel like you have a bad life and you're not where you're supposed to be? How you view success and how somebody else views success is not always the same. It's not always the same. Success is not always material possessions either. I talked to you guys about that some years ago in a different message. But just be okay with other people who are okay with the very little that they have in their life or the very little that they've accomplished. Let them rest in the bare minimum if they're okay with it. That is the video message. Well, guys, it's time for me to go because I have some other things to do. The Lord willing, I will be back with another video message. If any one of you have taken offense to anything I spoke about in this video message, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not worried about it. I am not concerned because I know you will forgive me in the morning.